My interesting enough, my old institution has the president there from Channel Islands is now the new president at Northridge. And in student affairs, very interesting, is the vice president for student affairs at Channel Islands now will be the interim president for Channel Islands for the next couple of years. And then the person who was considered as number two at Channel Islands will now become the interim vice president for student affairs, which is an interesting story because she was my former student body president at Florida Gulf Coast University. So it's kind of fun that I'll be now seeing her in these very meetings. But it also goes to show too that for those of you who are interested in as a career as a president, there is obviously a strong pathway today for student affairs if that's something that you may be interested in. So it's out there and really exciting. And so I know a couple things that are going to be mentioned, but I want to do this real quickly. Um, this past week, I was on the Western Regional Conference for NASPA for 2020. And we had some really exciting things. First of all, one of our colleagues, Audra, um, did a sensational presentation. Big ups to Audra. It was unbelievable. During that time, and she probably didn't get a chance to see as many people because she's doing the presentation, but I got to watch the screen. A number of people not only cried because it was such a cathartic presentation and so uplifting, so motivational, but also she touched a lot of souls. So wonderful representation for our university and division. So thank you, Audra. You were absolutely amazing. For our next presentation that was equally as commanding was Rosa. And Rosa and Cruz, Cruz is one of our student workers in the Dream Center. Rosa stole the show, as she always does. But I got to tell you, Cruz was illuminating and she did really an excellent job. You would not have known that Cruz was one of our student workers. And by the way, I know you already know this, but again, I want to mention it that the in the Dream Center, our program, our Aspire Fellowship, which was nominated for the Innovation Program of the Year. And of course, they won. And as the winner of that award, that they gave their presentation. So it was absolutely incredible and just excited the fact that she, in terms of Frosa and her team, once again showed out for the university. And certainly, last but not least, our president, uh, Dr. Sakaki, was on a panel of three presidents, all women, and it was absolutely magnificent. I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to stop in, but it was phenomenal. And of course, Dr. Sakaki was her regular self and just really represented us and the division as well as our discipline of student affairs quite well. So I want to let you all know that it was nice being able to see the collective from our division and the university showing folks the way that we're doing things in Sonoma and how we're doing things for the Division of Student Affairs. So just really exciting for the work they're doing. I have asked both that they will present to us in one of our future fireside chats. We're going to be doing what's called Fireside 2. And Fireside 2 will be individual presentations that will be done by members of the staff that feel as though that they would like to provide updates in their programs in terms of things that they're doing outside. And we thought that Audra as well as Rosa's presentations would be really incredible for you all to get a chance to see. So anything that you're doing extra work like that, we'd love to be able to see it for the division. The last thing I wanted to share with you is that you all know that we're in the midst of trying to finalize the election for the president of the United States. I think that we all have seen what the respective electoral count is at this point. But as you know, that there are multiple lawsuits that are out here. and we are simply waiting until December the 14th when all that will be in terms of the lawsuits and the electoral college votes will be finalized. So we just want to make sure that if you hear things that are going on, simply let us know. I do want to give a special shout out to our threat assessment group, our subcommittee out of the Division of Student Affairs. They have been ever ready. They have been at meetings when there were no meetings. We have put together times where we were going to meet because we wanted to always be ready in case there was going to be some kind of protest or there's going to be a march. We just wanted to make sure that we were there to make sure that our students were safe and taken care of. So I did want to say a thank you to all of our members. And if you'll do me a favor, if you all will just kind of raise your hand, you can certainly do it through the chat. But for those individuals who are part of that group, would you please just acknowledge? Great. Thank you all. It was something that Laura Monhe Paulson had put together a really an innovative way that we were going to be able to work with our students. And she and Dr. Henney and Dr. Jones, all three of them really have had expressed in the desire to make sure that our programs and activities were out there and to make sure that we would have our campus protected for student engagement. Thank you all. You put together a lot of things, particularly during the election night and thereafter, and there's still programs that are going on. So I think that our campus did an exceptional job. And I just want you all to know that sometimes you didn't know what folks were doing, but behind the scenes, this group was making sure that our campus was safe. So thank you all. At this point, I'm going to turn the program over then to Dr. Monhe Paulson. It's good to see everyone, and I'll see you at the end of our program today. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Sawyer, and good morning, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get our PowerPoint up on the screen. We just have a couple quick announcements, and Dr. Sawyer got a couple of them out of the way. So thank you for that. We'll be efficient with my time so we can get on to our presentations. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. That's me if you don't remember. So we had a couple folks achieve permanent status since our last meeting. Congratulations to Hannah Thomas and Derek Bradley for earning that status this month. Like Dr. Sawyer said, Audra and Rosa both presented at the NASPA Western Regional Conference last week. Dr. Sawyer also played a huge role in the conference, and our president spoke at the conference as well. Go ahead and go to the next one. We have a new Sonoma State Family Edition. Amelia Harbison had her daughter on November 6th. Kira is her name. And I think you would all agree she's adorable. Oh, Caitlin said that's her wedding tiara. That's awesome. And then we have a wedding engagement. Congratulations to Natalie Frankel and Hannah Thomas on their engagement. So exciting. Oh, and Laura says that Andy at CAPS is also engaged too. Congratulations, Andy. Okay, so I just had some brief ones today. So we have 3 more presentations for you around the different areas of student affairs. We're going to start with the Student Health Center. We also will see a presentation from CAPS and from pre-collegiate programs. So I too will see you at the end of the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Eden, a nurse practitioner and the interim director at the Student Health Center. You can go to the next slide. So our purpose at the Student Health Center is to provide high quality on-campus medical care, public health services, and health education services to our students. You can go to the next slide. So since the beginning of the pandemic, we have continued to be open our normal hours Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, and Fridays 9:30 to 5. We're here all day Friday, but we do administrative tasks on Friday mornings. We have had to change things a little bit and how we do things with the pandemic, but we have, been able to continually serve our students. Since the beginning of the semester, we've had over 2,500 visits with students by either phone, Zoom, or in person. And over 2,000 secure messages that we've sent to students through our secure online portal. So we've been able to continue to have a high level of engagement and serve our students. Our services now are the majority by telemedicine, so the phone or Zoom, but we also offer in-person services still when they're indicated. So, the visits look a little bit different. We have our first interaction with the students by phone or by Zoom, and then see them in person as we need to. So a visit that before may have been all in person, where they saw 3 different people in the health center. Now they will speak to a provider on the phone. Then they may come in to give a lab sample, and then they may leave and have another phone visit, but they're still getting that same level of service. Everything we're doing is by appointment, and so appointments can be made by calling the health center. Students can also make appointments online for a number of services. So the students have access to their My Health portal, which is very similar to what you may use with your provider, be it Kaiser, Sutter. They can go online to their MySSU portal, and they can do things such as update their health history, upload their immunizations, review their immunization history if they need to provide it for somebody else. They can get lab results, message with the providers, do a tuberculosis screen, download and complete forms. There's a number of things they can do there, which also includes making certain appointments. So for their flu shots are available for our students free, by appointment. So we are strongly encouraging all of the students to get them, as well as staff, and we are offering flu shots to staff now. So if any of you are still in need of one, you can call and make an appointment as well. We also offer appointments online for students for other immunizations that they may need. And they can also make appointments for telehealth visits for non-urgent concerns. So they can book those right online and then have their appointment online. So it's very convenient, and we're getting good response from the students for that. Next slide, please. So all of our basic services continue to be available to students. There are a few augmented services that we have had to reduce just because of concerns with COVID. I see some questions in the chat about the vaccine, and I have a whole page about COVID, so we'll get to that in a second. We've had to decrease a few augmented services. We're not doing group acupuncture, things like that, but we're able to offer all of our basic services, including preventative health visits, mental health. We've been able to adapt and continue to provide those services. Our pharmacy is open and available to students, even for just coming in for over-the-counter medications. We do require that they make an appointment for all those services now, so they just need to call rather than just stopping by. We're also able to service our students who live out of the area now through reciprocal services with other CSUs. So they call us, have a telehealth visit, and then if they need in-person services, we refer them and coordinate that with their local CSU. So we're able to care for those students, even if they're out of the area and don't have access to other healthcare services. Next slide. So COVID, everyone's favorite topic. We are caring for our students and testing and screening for COVID. We have COVID testing. We do PCR tests that are run through the public health lab at no additional cost to the students. We test all students that have symptoms or are concerned about COVID. We also test all students to come out of quarantine. So it's a requirement of the public health department that they test on day 10. So we do all that testing. We've also started offering through the public health lab. They have done something for us that they don't really do for other people, which is allow us to do some screening for our students. Since we are a higher risk population in terms of behaviors. So we do offer screening clinics for students. We started that a few weeks ago and we've had a really great response. So this is for students that have no symptoms and no exposures and are just wanting to get tested. We are seeing a great increase this week, as you can imagine, before the holidays. We will not be doing the screenings next week just because of the holidays and timing and getting the results back. But we are doing them Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. Just a reminder for everybody, and for yourself, and if you're speaking to students, this is a nice bit of information, but it doesn't mean that you don't have COVID and you can't still spread it to people. It just means at that moment that the test is negative. So still continue to be safe and do your distancing, masking, hand washing. We will be soon, hopefully, offering a rapid testing through test kits we're going to get from the public health lab. Those will not be a replacement for the PCR test. They're not as accurate, but they'll give us another piece of data and hopefully be able to identify positive students sooner so that we can get that information and start the contact tracing sooner. In terms of vaccine, I've begun meetings with the County Healthcare Coalition in terms of planning for that. We are expecting a first shipment of vaccine to the state of California relatively soon. It's all kind of up in the air, but they're planning for even, planning for even the beginning of December potentially. That will go to healthcare workers first. So it's all still up in the air, but we are beginning that plan, and we'll work with the campus in terms of how we will give that to our students if it is something that we're doing here, as well as planning for how the rest of the campus community can get vaccinated as well. Next slide. And I think I'm out of time. So here's some contact information. We have all of our information available on the website, which is a great resource for our staff and our students, and also on Instagram as well. And we highly encourage participation in our student health activities and advisory committee, which is a wonderful resource for us and for the students. I hand it.
Yeah, I can hand it over. Thank you, Tracy. And sorry, I got a little excited about not having to talk for the whole division meeting that I forgot that I should properly introduce our presenters. So sorry about that, Tracy. And I am appreciative of your presentation. And if you have any additional questions for Tracy, go ahead and put them in the chat so that we make sure we have time for other presentations. So up next, we have CAPS and Confidential Advocacy, and Laura Williams will be presenting about her area.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all. So this is our purpose statement. I think it's a little short. It misses some things, but we support student mental health, personal growth, effective communication, positive self-esteem, balanced relationships, and strong decision-making skills. We also do a lot of work around identity development and coping skills for folks who are coping with things they shouldn't be coping with, like systemic oppression and fires and all sorts of things that we've had lately. So we provide general support and empowerment. We work from a strengths-based, multiculturally informed, trauma-informed lens in all of our work. Next slide. This is my favorite slide. This is the beautiful CAPS team. I'm going to introduce folks from left to right. We've got Elisa Vasquez, Isa Avila Sater, sorry, Dr. Elisa Vasquez, Dr. Isa Avila Sater, Dr. Irene Wise. We have Tara Quinn, our outstanding, incredible administrative coordinator. We've got Mel Browning, who's an LMFT, Dr. Rochelle Martinez, me, Dr. Courtney Avampado, and Dr. Andy Curlow Myers, who is our clinical coordinator. This year, we're creating some teams that are doing some different work, and you'll get to see pieces of that. We've got Irene and, let me make sure I get this right, Elisa and Andy, who are creating some data and plots, and we'll see some of that. We've got Courtney and Tara and Irene, and Mel was doing it for a while, working on the communications team, doing Instagram posts and website updates. And we've got Isa and Rochelle and Andy and Elisa working on grant deliverables. So we have some stuff we have to do there. And I feel like I missed a team. What did I miss? Let's see. I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. They're a really great team. I'm very proud of this team. They're all really hardworking and dedicated to students. Next slide, please. So our services. So as you know, we're doing mostly everything we were doing before. We're doing it a little differently right now. We're doing everything by Zoom. Sometimes students don't want Zoom, so we'll do sessions by phone. We're doing short-term individual therapy, and people always want to know what our session limit is. It's very individually driven based on both what CAPS resources are and what the students' resources are. So some students don't have money for co-pays or car rides to doctor appointments, or even if they're really depressed, they might not have motivation to get out of CAPS. So we sometimes carry people longer. Other people don't need much support. They just need a couple of sessions. And that's where single session therapy comes in. Folks can come in and not go through a whole intake process. They just kind of get a very soon appointment. They address a need, and from there they can make a plan with the therapist about what they want to do next. We are offering crisis intervention services, and we do that. If a student says they're urgent, they have an urgent concern, we see them right away. We also prioritize folks that you all have sent over. So if you give us a call and say, I'm sending John Smith over, I think he needs to be seen. When John calls in, we're going to offer him an immediate appointment if he'll take it. So there's that. We're offering a number of groups. Group attendance has been a little spotty, but we know that building community and connection is one of the best protective factors against things like, well, against a lot of mental illness issues, but especially against suicidality. So we really try to encourage people to go to group. We have a wide variety based on mental health concerns, affinity groups. Some are general support, some are coping skills like mindfulness. So if you have students that you think could benefit, take a look at our group listing and see if you can get them over to us. I think that would be helpful for a lot of folks. We offer consultations. And so parents, other students, roommates, all of you, staff, faculty, can call us and talk about concerns that they have about a student. We can't share whether that student is being seen at CAPS, but we can offer some advice about how you might want to interact with that student to try to encourage them to get to care. And we can also take in information. So if the student is being seen and you're seeing something that the counselor might not know about, we can take that information in and it informs how we interact. We're doing a number of workshops. We're going to show you some of those in a little bit. We're available for outreach. We're doing trainings, including our new keep a Seawolf Safe training, which is a suicide prevention program, as well as just how to talk to distressed students to get people a little more comfortable. Next slide, please. We have a mental health ambassador program. We had to cut that back. It got very tricky when COVID hit and we went into shelter in place, and it was hard to offer the mental health ambassadors everything that we had before. We are going to do it in the spring semester. It'll be limited. We're only going to have a couple of mental health ambassadors. We're planning to expand it in the fall. That's a really great program for students. They get 1 unit as an internship. It's good on their resumes if they want to go to grad school. It can be helpful. And they do a lot of outreach for CAPS, as well as a social justice or passion project. So the ambassadors who participated in the past have really enjoyed it. That's been led by Isa Vela Sater and Rochelle Martinez, and they've done a great job with that. Our website is expanding all the time. We have a lot of self-help resources, including some guided meditations that have been narrated by our staff, which I like. There's some of them that I listen to that are very calming. We also have a new mental health screening tool, which we'll show you. We've gotten quite a few students who've called in and said, I took the mental health screening on your website and it says I need help. So here I am. So I think it's working well. We have a new Instagram. Courtney does most of the content, but the whole team participates in providing content. And please follow us. We'd appreciate it, and share some of our stuff. We have an after hours counseling support line, so students can call us 24/7. They just call our normal number, which I know I didn't provide here, but it's 707-664-2153. And anytime, day or night, 24/7, they'll talk to someone. So that's a great adjunct. We offer appointments from 8 to 5 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and appointments from 8 to 6 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our phones, though, are only open from 9 to noon and 1 to 4 because Tara needs a lunch. So if students call during the noon hour, they'll go through to our 24/7 line. We also have liaison relationships with many of you in the division. We've expanded that out this year, that we've contacted the deans of various schools to get their help in advertising our services and make sure that faculty are aware of what we have to offer. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I thought this was kind of interesting. I wanted to share it with you. This is who we're supporting demographically and with some certain issues, presenting issues. So 50% of the clients that CAPS supports are first-gen students, identify as first-gen students. 32% of our clientele are Latinx students. 12% are BIPOC and multiracial students. 39%, which is high, are LGBTQIA+ students. Trans, genderqueer, non-binary students are about 8%. Women is 77%, which is both great, but also shows that it's difficult to get men to come into therapy. They're more reluctant in general to come. So we try to do extra outreach there and offer a men's support group, but that's hard to get running. 76% of our students identify some level of financial insecurity. So that's pretty high. 35% indicate when they come in that they've seriously considered suicide in the past. Current suicidal thoughts actually last year were 42%. It seems like it's a little bit lower last I looked, but I don't have these statistics up to date. And 28% of the folks coming in say they've had an unwanted sexual experience. Also a high number with some sort of abuse history. either childhood sexual abuse or physical abuse or emotional abuse. So I think this gives a good snapshot of, you know, these are students who may need additional support to stay in school. And so yeah, anyways, I just want to share that with you all. But I think it's interesting. Next slide, please. Uh-oh. I'm going between two computers though. So these are some national mental health trends I wanted to share. The COVID-19 pandemic has increased stress and mental health concerns. We're seeing that kind of in a lot of reporting that's coming out all across the nation. Recent surveys showed that those 18 to 24 have been disparately impacted, with 25.5% indicating that they'd seriously considered suicide in the last 30 days. That number is only 11% for adults of all ages. So this age group is having a particular hard time. It's always an age group that has higher suicidal thoughts and risk, but it's getting more pronounced. And I think for our students who are dealing with COVID, as well as the fire and the traumas around that, and all of the socio-political stuff that's going on, it's just a kind of a perfect firestorm for stress and mental illness. 80% of students report a negative impact on mental health from COVID alone, and 20% are reporting significantly worsened mental health. And this all comes on top of a trend in the last 5-10 years of an increasing mental health concerns for traditionally aged students. So that's what we're facing, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. So what about at SSU? So a couple of things that we're seeing. We're not attracting as many first-year clients at this point. Only 32% of the number of freshmen are coming in, while we're seeing about 80% of the number of returning clients. Clients the freshman issue is tough. I think we don't have as much contact, although we've tried to be available for tabling events and done a bunch of outreach to classes. Students just aren't coming. Part of that may be privacy concerns. Part of that, if the student's at home, it's difficult to have a very frank conversation about sensitive topics when your parents are in the next room. So that could be part of it. And then I also think they're just not doing the same explorations that they normally would do, coming away to college and adjusting. And they're isolating more, which concerns me. So we're supporting fewer students, but providing a lot more frequent support, which I think is helpful. We're not on a wait list right now. So we have some capacity left, not a lot, but I think we're going to make it through the semester okay. And again, 42% of students being supported report suicidal thoughts at intake. So here's a couple of little graphs that I thought might be interesting that the data team came up with, and Irene in particular. So these are scales. So when students come in, they do an assessment, a brief assessment. It's called the CCAPS, and they get a score on different scales. So you can see the blue line is 2020, or bar, and the right bar is 2019. So depression has gone up at this point significantly. This is a 2-week-old graph. Last week's graph, the elevations were higher. And then we have generalized anxiety. It's gone up quite a bit. Almost 60% are showing an elevation on that scale. Social anxiety staying about the same. And I'm wondering if that's because students aren't having to meet in person and aren't having to make the social connections that they would if they were on campus. Academic distress is way up. Students are struggling. I'm sure you're all hearing that. Eating concerns about the same. Family distress up, probably probably because everybody's still stuck at home. Hostility is up, and that's more about anger than it is about any sort of threat to other people. Substance abuse is also up. So there's a snapshot of what's going on with our students. Next slide, please. Okay, so this chart shows who we're supporting proportionally. So you can see blue again is 2020, red is 2019. We're seeing quite a few less freshmen, about the same number of sophomores, juniors more, and seniors more, and grad students more. So really our target area is freshmen, and we're going to plan some other types of outreach to do in the future. But that's what that looks like. Next slide, please. Oh, wait, I had one more thing to say. I think what I'm hearing from other campuses is that campuses that are having in-person services and have a high residential population are seeing surges in demand for mental health care, while campuses that are remote and have low residential populations are not seeing that same surge. So I'm just curious what's going to happen when we're back on campus and students are back in the res halls, and whether we're going to see a real spike in demand at that point. But we'll wait and see what happens. So next, I'll just introduce him, is Andy Curlow Myers. He's our clinical coordinator, and he's going to show you a couple of things. Over to you, Andy.
All right, let's see. Looks like people can hear me. Okay. Okay, so one of the things we were working on the beginning of this semester was coming up with a workshop for helping distressed students that is appropriate for faculty, staff, and other students to take. We've done different versions of workshops in the past, but we really wanted one that was SSU specific. And we also realized that we needed one that would walk professors, students, and staff through what to do if they were speaking with a distressed student over Zoom or a distressed student in another state or over the phone, which isn't something that that the other trainings really put a lot of focus on. So we have a 90-minute workshop now, and we're going with the SAFE acronym. So participants will learn about the signs that a student may be struggling, asking students how they're doing, focusing on referring that student to the appropriate resource, and then escorting the student to CAPS, whether in person, which we'd love to get back to, or virtually if someone is connecting with a student over long distances. The next training we have, let's see. Oh, actually, we already have our December training up. So our December training is going to be December 3rd, and I want to say it's going to be, I'm checking my schedule right now. I want to make sure I get the time right. It's going to be Thursday, December 3rd at 10 o'clock. So I'd love to see folks there. Okay, all right, let's go to the next slide. This is Courtney, but I will be your Courtney today. So let's keep going. Social media and website, I'm going to show you some of this stuff, but we have been doing a lot of updates to our website. We have a lot of resources and some of the descriptions of services that Laura shared with you earlier. We have an anonymous mental health screen, a monthly newsletter. Let's see. We've also included more kind of interactive content. So we have self-care resources that Laura was talking about. And also some self-help pages, provider referrals. We have a calendar of upcoming events, and we also have an Instagram. Let's see. I think at some point I was going to share my screen, but I want to make sure that we have enough time for everything. Do I have enough time for me to share my screen and show a couple of these things?
Depends on how much time Susan needs to do her slides.
Well, I will give you the whirlwind tour.
Okay.
We do have 15 minutes. Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
let's see if this works. Okay, can everyone see that? Yeah, okay, here's the website. We have our announcements here, which are we had a lot of election related support. Keep Your Seat Safe, which I was talking about. Right now, it's a lot of election support. Let's see, we have a button for folks who are in crisis. So that gives very concrete, quick information and bullets for folks. We have a number of resources that Laura talked about that you can look through at your leisure. One of the things we have is we have a anonymous mental health screening that allows you to take a similar survey to the one you would take if you were coming into CAPS. And then at the end, it gives students a printout like this, and it will encourage them very strongly to come to CAPS if they were really having a rough time. And we've had a number of students come to CAPS after taking that survey. We have a monthly newsletter where we talk about pressing issues like the election for our last monthly newsletter. And finally, we have an Instagram account where we've been sharing, I think, a lot of good resources, including another way for us to promote our services to students. And that is that's the Whirlwind Tour.
And then Susan Polito, is she presenting a little bit on confidential advocacy or?
I'll just go real quick.
Awesome.
So my services are provided via Zoom, phone, and text. Similarly to CAPS, a lot of students are comfortable using text, so that seems to be working in Zoom. I provide emotional decision-making support related to all of the umbrella world of Title IX, sexual dating, domestic violence, stalking, and/or sexual harassment. The bulk of what I do and that I really want to focus on today is academic accommodations, including course and term withdrawals. I've been supporting so many students this semester who are in need of course withdrawals. And when it comes from confidential advocacy, there's nothing explained. I reach out to the registrar on behalf of the student, and so again, I've done a tremendous amount of presentations throughout the division with regard to this, and I just want to reiterate it today with all of you that send your students my way if you have knowledge of them being a survivor in any way, shape, or form of a traumatic event, and I can help ease that process of withdrawing from a class. Support accompaniment with police, with law enforcement, with Title IX. Another big thing that's been happening this semester is restraining orders. I've assisted at least 5 students in obtaining restraining orders. So many students are in environments where they're not safe, where they're close to or even living with the perpetrator. Lots of accompaniment via Zoom, referral to on and off campuses, resources, and liaise with lots of departments. Being a member of the care team helps with that. You can go to the next slide, please. I do trainings, classroom, lots of first year. I've been trying to get into those first year training classes. EOP's been instrumental in making that occur. And we've done this semester, we've been doing a lot of, there's a new thing, the alternative Title IX trainings. And we've done like 75 plus Title IX alternative trainings. Returning students that I'm supporting is 17, and new students from August to October 31st is 16 new students. We got the Cal OES grant that has provided an additional advocate, Brittany, through Verity. We have 2 new student assistants who are providing all of the social media outreach and marketing. They're going to help create a website. We have emergency travel support that is available to us through the grant. And I have a whole bunch of $50 Visa and Target gift cards that I can send to students in need, again, who are experiencing any form of that Title IX umbrella work. Instagram account, Advocacy at SSU, very active, very great. Facebook, Advocacy at SSU, new office email address there. And my time is up. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. And I will quickly turn it over to Susan Wandling to present on pre-collegiate programs.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning, Student Affairs. It's my pleasure to share highlights from pre-collegiate programs. We're housed in that lovely building you just saw on my cover slide. That building's still looking great. I bicycle by it occasionally, so it's holding up. So just as a refresher, we're a family of 11 TRIO programs, including 2 training programs and 9 Upward Bound and Talent Search programs. Our purpose is to provide information and resources to family and Sonoma State's communities to prepare students for college success. So how do we do this? We have partnerships with over 36 middle and high school students in high schools in Sonoma, Lake, Mendocino, and Napa counties, serving over 2,000 first-generation low-income students. In addition to the institutional support we get from Sonoma State, it takes $3.9 million annual federal funding and lots of advising and administrative talent led by our program directors to help our students achieve their college goals. My most significant update is that we are closing up a recruitment for the director of Upward Bound Lake and Mendocino programs. So I have asked our associate director, Carrie Borns, to cover updates for all 7 Upward Bound programs in her presentation. But first, I'll hand it over to Dr. Peruta to tell you about academic talent search programs.
Great, thank you, Susan. All right, I'll keep it brief. Let's go to the next slide. So again, our purpose is to help our local middle school and high school students prepare for college. So we want them to access college and succeed in college. So we start working with our students as early as 6th grade, the summer right after 6th grade, and all the way through high school. In Mendocino County and the city of Cloverdale, we serve 500 students. And throughout Sonoma County, we serve over 1,000 students. So this is a highly active intervention program that helps youth from our low-income families and our first-generation families. Next slide, please. We've been virtual since last March. Everything that we are doing in the program is either virtual or, if you can see my camera, through the mail. My dining room has turned into a virtual post office. We are still full steam ahead with our services. What are the things we offer? Well, they're here on the screen. The main piece is individual and group advising with our students. So our wonderful team of advisors is meeting every single day with our students to help them achieve their academic goals. We also do a number of workshops. We have FAFSA financial aid workshops. We have SAT and ACT workshops. Also, what we're in the midst of right now, and especially next week, is meeting with all of our seniors to complete college applications. We pride ourselves on the incredible gains that our students make in applying to college, entering college, and achieving degrees. And I just finished up our federal report for last year. Last year, we had 88% of our seniors across both programs, 88% enroll in higher education. That is just absolutely incredible. 182 students overall. Of those, 18 came right here to SSU. So very proud of them. If you'd like to learn anything more about our program, you can always check out our website, but I want to recommend really quickly our Instagram page that I just threw in the chat. You can see all of our virtual programs. And now I will pass things over to Carrie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Borns, and I'm the Associate Director of Pre-Collegiate Programs, as previously noted. Next slide. We, like Academic Talent Search, provide first-generation college-bound students with academic readiness and resources necessary to access and graduate from a four-year college or university. Across the 7 Upward Bound projects, we serve about 498 students. And we work with the 9th through 12th grade. That's when we start recruiting in the 8th grade for students and serve them in their 9th through 12th grades. Next slide, Sue. And very similar to academic talent search, our outreach staff and academic services staff has been working feverishly. The services we provide, we rolled right into continuing those services to our students. The individual and group advising is 100% daily, like academic talent search. Our college application process, of course. We have our virtual campus tours and field trips. Our summer academy program was really strong this year. Excuse me. We've had several student workshops this year and implemented a wonderful tutorial program for the students to support them. And our Zoom Hangouts have been super fun. And we've done, we are preparing for our parent workshops also, because we know that supporting them is really, really important as well. So I just want to give a super shout out to our outreach services staff, the academic services staff, and of course, our admin, Ying Strobe, who sort of keeps us all together. So she's amazing. Next slide, Sue. So just to recap and updates of what's going on with our Upward Bound programs. We have 100 seniors. Those seniors have submitted 322 CSU applications. 78 of our seniors submitted through our Seawolf Passport program here at Sonoma State University. They all started receiving their notices the past couple of weeks, and those are continuing to come in. So we're really excited about that. I also wanted to give kind of a shout out to our Upward Bound Pioneer students. That program serves 60 students. And as you know, students, and as we've heard, they're all really struggling in this environment. And so what's really great about what's going on over there, so 22 of those 60 students have achieved GPAs of 3.0 to 3.9 on their first quarter reports, and 7 of them achieved GPAs of 4.0. So we're really proud of the work that Raina Penning is doing over there as well. We've also had, of course, the virtual college tours. As we've said, we've had 220 students participate in those. Students are really enjoying those college tours, despite the fact that they are virtual. So, so that's been a really fun experience for the students as well. One last workshop that I wanted to mention we had last week. We had our annual You Can Do It Too workshop. We had 6 college student panelists share their college going experiences and advice, and also, you know, kind of discussed how their socioeconomic backgrounds have affected their experiences. This was so well received by the students and elicited many questions from the students that the panelists could really give that great advice for our students. So we're really happy with all of the progress that we're making so far. And I think that's my last slide, isn't it? So, yeah.
Thank you, Carrie. That is okay. I'm here now. Next, I'm closing up the TRIO pre-collegiate programs presentation here to talk about TRIO training programs, which are headed up by Shannon Smith. And so all those direct services we provide to students, we also have a couple of programs that train professionals who directly serve the students. Next slide, please. And that purpose, in that purpose, we deliver training on 2 topics. One is to assist, hold on, I'm sorry here. I'm having a little glitch. There we go. The 2 priorities 5 and 6. The first one focuses on helping our professionals throughout the U.S. serve hard to reach populations, including youth with disabilities, homeless, or are in foster care. This year, our plan is to serve 300 professionals with that training. Priority 6 focuses on training brand new directors with less than 2 years of experience as directors and with everything they need to know to administer a successful TRIO programs. And our plan is to serve 260 TRIO professionals a year, this year with that training. Sonoma State is one of only 8 institutions in the whole US who actually run TRIO programs. And we were, next slide, please, Susan. We were just renewed, our funding was just renewed for 2 years. We're on 2-year funding cycles at about $800,000 a year for both TRIO training priorities. As you may know, Dave Ferguson just retired a month or the end of September. Shannon has been running the programs since then. David gave us 10 years of service with those programs and over 38 years in service to TRIO. We also are excited to give that all of our training consultants, trainers who renew their commitment to serve, that represents over 350 years of experience in TRIO. So we're very fortunate to have their renewed commitment. And changing things up this year, we're very accustomed to the power of in-person training. So this is a shift for us, and Shannon gets to lead a very exciting transition to virtual training, serving those trainees throughout the US, doing 4 in-person trainings and 4 virtual webinars. And of course, it's a new thing also to develop these social media platforms for TRIO training. But it is demand and it's time. So thank you for the opportunity to share about our programs and pre-collegiate programs. And I think we get to hear from Laura next, or Doc next, for closing remarks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Sawyer here in a quick second, but just want to remind all of you who are able to join us for our live training this morning. We will be hopping on that training meeting after this. The training will run for 45 minutes. If you can at least join us for 30, then you'll have the content portion out of the way, and the last 15 minutes will be the discussion. That will be the portion that if you aren't able to attend the training today, you'll be viewing the first 30 minutes asynchronously, and then we'll be scheduling additional discussion sections to process and talk about the content that's shared. So without further ado, Dr. Sawyer, do you want to close us out?
Thank you so much. I do want to say a special thank you to our areas. And so thank you to Student Health Services, CAPS, and pre-collegiate programs for informing us in terms of what you do, the purpose, and the wonderful services that we provide. The other thing I want to do is to let folks know that Christina Gamboa has joined us again. She is now with Associated Students. So she's back in the house. And so I wanted to say, hey, congratulations and welcome, Christina. And then the last thing I wanted to close out with, besides telling you all how grateful I am for your wonderful work, I did slight one of our wonderful colleagues by not mentioning that Dr. Henney also was on a panel for an institute, and I just failed to mention that. So Dr. Henney, as well as Dr. Jelena Griffin Desta, both were on a panel discussion that was for Associate Vice Presidents for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. And so I wanted to make sure that I did mention the good work. And as usual, you all know Ryan, he brought the heat. So congratulations to all of those folks that presented, and a special, I'm sorry to Ryan for not mentioning that earlier. So at this point, let's go to our next meeting. Thank you all so very much, and look forward to seeing you all at Service Excellence. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.